Most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they choose comfort. Comfort feels harmless. It doesn't look like a bad decision. It feels small, reasonable, justified. And that's why it's dangerous. Comfort doesn't destroy your life in one moment. It slowly pulls you away from who you could become. Every time you say just this once, every time you delay, every time you negotiate, you are training your mind, training it to avoid resistance, training it to escape effort, and over time, that becomes your default. Most people say they want discipline, but what they really want is motivation without discomfort. They want results without structure, change without sacrifice. But discipline doesn't work that way. Discipline is not emotional. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the right mood. Discipline is a decision you repeat, especially on days you don't feel like it. Comfort asks one question: how do I feel right now? Discipline asks a different one: what needs to be done? And every single day, you answer one of those questions. Your future is built on that answer. Comfort feels good now, but discipline pays later. Comfort is easy today, but expensive tomorrow. And most people keep choosing comfort, then wonder why nothing changes, why they keep starting over, why they feel stuck, why they don't trust themselves. Self-trust is built when your actions match your intentions, and comfort breaks that trust quietly, one skipped commitment at a time. Discipline rebuilds it the same way, quietly. Here's the part most people ignore. Comfort doesn't just delay progress, it reshapes identity. When you repeatedly choose what's easy, your mind starts expecting ease. And the moment life demands effort, you feel overwhelmed, not because the task is impossible, but because comfort lowered your tolerance. That's why small challenges feel heavy. That's why discipline feels extreme. That's why consistency feels exhausting. Comfort makes ordinary effort feel unbearable. And the longer you live that way, the harder it becomes to reverse. Not because change is impossible, but because the mind adapts to whatever you repeatedly choose. This is the real cost of comfort. It doesn't ruin your life immediately. It slowly trains you to resist growth. Most people are waiting to feel motivated. They believe motivation comes first, that one day they'll wake up feeling ready, focused, driven, and then everything will change. But motivation doesn't work like that. Motivation is emotional. It depends on mood, energy, circumstances, and emotions are unstable. That's why motivation disappears the moment things get uncomfortable, the moment effort is required, the moment resistance appears. Motivation leaves, and comfort steps back in. This is why most people keep starting and never finishing. They act when they feel inspired. They stop when inspiration fades. And because inspiration always fades, so does progress. Motivation feels powerful, but it's unreliable, creates bursts of action, not consistency. And progress is built on consistency, not bursts. Discipline works differently. Discipline doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't need excitement. Discipline moves, even when motivation is absent, especially when motivation is absent. That's why disciplined people don't rely on feelings. They rely on structure. They build routines that remove decision-making, because every decision creates friction, and friction invites excuses. Most people fail, not because they can't do the work, but because they ask themselves every day whether they feel like doing it. That question alone keeps them trapped. Discipline removes that question. It replaces emotion with commitment, and commitment creates momentum. Slow, uncomfortable, but unstoppable. Motivation feels good. Discipline builds results. And eventually, results create confidence, not the other way around. Here's what relying on motivation really does. It turns discipline into a negotiation. Every day becomes a debate. Do I feel like it today? Is today the right day? Maybe tomorrow will be better? And every time you ask those questions, you give comfort a voice. Motivation teaches you to wait for the right feeling. Discipline teaches you to act despite the feeling. That difference changes everything, because life will never align perfectly. Energy fluctuates, mood shifts, circumstances change. If your action depends on motivation, your progress will always be unstable. This is why people feel stuck. Even when they try hard, they try when they feel good. They disappear when resistance shows up. And resistance always shows up. Discipline is not about being extreme. It's about being predictable. Predictable to yourself. Showing up, even when nothing feels right. That consistency builds trust. And trust builds confidence. Not hype. Not emotion. Not excitement. Just proof. Repeated proof. That you do what you say you will do. Once that identity locks in, motivation becomes optional. You move anyway. And that's when progress becomes inevitable. Every day you live by something. Most people don't realize it. But every day is governed by either standards or feelings. Feelings change. They fluctuate with sleep, with stress, with circumstances. Standards don't. Standards are fixed. They decide how you wake up, how you work, how you respond to resistance. Most people let feelings lead. If they feel good, they act. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel inspired, they push. If they feel resistance, they retreat. And over time, that creates instability, because feelings were never meant to be leaders. They were meant to be signals. When feelings are in control, progress becomes unpredictable. Some days productive, some days wasted, some days strong, some days weak. And that inconsistency destroys momentum. Standards remove that chaos. Standards decide in advance. They don't ask how you feel. They already know what comes next. When standards are clear, there is no debate, no internal argument, no hesitation. You don't wake up asking whether you're disciplined today. You wake up knowing what you do regardless. This is how high-level people operate, not with more motivation, but with fewer decisions. They eliminate choice, because choice invites emotion, and emotion invites comfort. Standards protect you from your weakest moments. They hold you steady when feelings try to pull you off course. This is why progress accelerates. When standards replace feelings, you stop restarting, you stop negotiating, you stop drifting, and you begin moving with direction, not intensity, direction. And direction repeated daily beats intensity every time. Most people think identity is something you discover, that one day you find yourself. But identity is not discovered. It is built quietly through repetition. Every action you repeat is shaping who you become. Not the big actions, the small ones, the ones that feel insignificant, the ones you almost skip. Those are the ones that matter most. Because consistency does not create results first. It creates identity. When you show up repeatedly, your mind starts to adjust. It stops questioning. It stops resisting. It starts expecting consistency. And what the mind expects becomes normal. This is why inconsistency is dangerous. Not because you fail once, but because inconsistency teaches your mind that your word is optional. And when your word is optional, self-trust disappears. Without self-trust, discipline collapses. Consistency restores that trust, not in dramatic moments, but in boring ones, in doing the work, even when it feels ordinary, even when it feels repetitive, even when it feels unnoticed. That's where identity locks in. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," and start becoming someone who simply is. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. Intensity burns. Consistency compounds. Intensity looks impressive. Consistency looks invisible. But invisibility is where growth happens. No audience, no applause, just standards being honored. And over time, those standards stop feeling forced. They become part of who you are. That's when discipline stops feeling heavy, because you're no longer fighting yourself. You're acting in alignment. And alignment creates momentum. Quiet, steady, inevitable. Comfort always charges a price. It just doesn't ask for payment up front. It lets you feel fine today, while quietly taking tomorrow. Every time you choose what's easy, you are choosing to delay growth. Not forever, just long enough for regret to build. The danger of comfort is not that it feels good, it's that it feels familiar. And familiarity creates attachment. People don't stay stuck because they want to suffer. They stay stuck because their comfort became normal. And breaking what feels normal feels threatening, even when it's destroying progress. This is why change feels hard. Not because discipline is extreme, but because comfort trained your tolerance. Staying comfortable has a long-term cost. Lost time, lost confidence, lost self-respect. Not all at once, slowly, quietly, until one day, people realize they've been negotiating with their own potential, and the cost is always the same: the life they could have lived. This moment right now is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be honest. Honest about the habits you protect. Honest about the standards you lower. Honest about the comfort you choose. Because once you see the cost, you can't ignore it. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about choosing a future you don't regret. If this message resonated with you, stay connected. Subscribe to Mind Command. This channel exists to build discipline, mental strength, and inner authority. Remember, comfort keeps you where you are. Discipline takes you where you want to go.